Hi guys, I'm Kendall Hoeft. I am a life coach and transformational freedom guide. I help people to discover their authentic joy and freedom and confidence in being the fullness of their expression, the fullness of who we actually are. Today I'm going to talk about freedom, which is my favorite thing, my favorite word. I actually have a tattoo. I don't know if I can show you in this shirt, but I have a tattoo right here that says freedom because I am committed to freedom in my life. I'm committed to showing up as my 100% expression. I wanted to make a quick note to say that I don't have a stitch of makeup on right now. And in my life right now, I'm kind of did this back and forth thing. I was in the modeling industry for about 7 years, and of course every day we had to have nail done, hair done, everything did, nail done, hair done, everything did. Oh, you fancy, huh? Oh, you fancy, huh? Oh, you fancy, huh? Oh, you... And you can imagine after days and days of that, I have an eyelash. Hello. After days and days of that, I basically just wanted to be clean-faced. I didn't want to have to get dressed and do that every day. And now I'm coming back to a place where I'm like, I actually like doing my hair. I actually like doing my makeup. And so I think I'm coming into a new expression or experience of that isn't so based on obligation or the pressure that I have to do it. So I'm finding that, rediscovering that for myself. But I also am a person that does not have to wear makeup. I am a person that does not have to do my hair, and I do not have to do my nails, and I am in no way obligated to dress up. I can wear sweats, I can wear whatever I want, so I'm both. Some days you'll see me dressed up and cute in that way, and some days, like today, I felt that my authentic expression in this moment was to not wear makeup. So it's kind of nice. You can just listen to your own body and your own feelings. Okay, let me get into the topic at hand. We are talking about freedom through forgiveness. I want to start by reading part of a quote by Neil T. Anderson, which he says, "You don't forgive someone merely for their sake. You do it for your sake so you can be free." So it's not about the other person. Forgiveness is about freeing your own soul. You're going to live with the consequences of whatever happened, whether you want to or not, and you can deal with that, but your only choice is whether you will do it in bitterness of unforgiveness or in the freedom of forgiveness. So forgiveness really deals with your pain, not another person's behavior. And I want to read through and talk about some of these excuses or beliefs or reasons for not forgiving, reasons for not letting go, not releasing the anger, not releasing the blame. The offense was too great. The offense was too great, and so I can't let it go. The size of the offense being larger is precisely the reason that we have to let it go. Because it's going to, not only are we going to be burdened down by the offense, but we're going to be burdened down by that suppression. Oh, I have a cat. I have a cat coming in. She wants to be in the video. Hello, girlie. I love you now. Oh, you're a good girl, aren't you now? Okay, go along now. Go along. Cutie. He or she won't accept responsibility for the offense. This is where we need to release that person and their bad choices and their bad decisions. And remember our portion. Our portion is the responsibility to take care of our own souls through freeing ourselves in forgiveness so that we don't have to carry the weight and the burden of that offense anymore. So that other person may never accept responsibility for what they did. That other person may never apologize. That other person may never ask for forgiveness. That other person may not be truly sorry. They may not accept responsibility for what they did. That's on them. We don't have to worry about how they live their life and the negative choices that they're making. We still have the capacity and the ability to forgive them to release that hurt, shame, blame, and anger so that we can live happily, that we can live in joy and freedom. And so this one goes with that. He or she never asked to be forgiven. They may never ask to be forgiven, but remember that this isn't about you and them. It's about you and God. It's about you and your own soul being free. He or she will do it again. He or she did it again. Okay, this one I want to sit in for a second. So first of all, we can't control what other people do. If I forgive them, that doesn't mean that they're contractually obligated to never do this thing again. Again, releasing releasing that other person and remembering that it's about self. So I still want to be free, whether they choose to sin or wrong me again. I still want to be free and I still want to choose freedom. Now I need to make a note here in terms of boundaries. We have to be careful with who we allow into our spaces. We have to be careful that we do not allow people that are going to continuously wrong us. I'm not talking about you're trying to do the right thing kind of thing, and then you mess up and you humbly ask for forgiveness and you apologize, and those kind of healthy relationships. But I'm talking about someone who is actually hurting you, or maybe even intentionally hurting you. Maybe it's a relative that doesn't realize that their criticism and their negative comments and their controlling, manipulative behaviors are hurting your insides. And maybe you've even tried to express how you feel. Maybe you've even tried to lay down groundwork or boundaries and saying, I love you, I value our relationship. But when I hear, oh, you're too tall to wear high heels, or you should get your hair cut, or your shirt needs to be ironed, or when I hear criticisms all the time, that makes me feel devalued, unloved, not enough, not accepted. And that kind of feedback that I'm constantly getting from you is hurting our relationship, is putting a wedge between us, is tearing us apart, is making me feel like I have to be on my toes all the time, like I can't trust you, like I can't be myself. So you have the ability, if you so desire, to communicate your feelings and to request, here's what I would now like. I would like to not receive criticism. I would like to only hear comments that are approving, encouraging, and good for the health and the good of our relationship. And if that person is either incapable of that, unwilling, unable to understand the request, what have you, in other words, if that damaging behavior continues, that may be all they can do. You may be, let's take it to a crazier, more severe scenario. You may be in an abusive relationship. And that, oftentimes there's a cycle there where after the man, or I guess it could be a woman, but generally it's a man, hits or whatever, hurts the woman, there's usually a sick part of that cycle where he's, I'm sorry, baby, I didn't mean to, and he kind of looks humble and weak, and he begs, and I need you, and he does this sweet appearing thing because she's about to effing leave, you know what I'm saying? It's like, enough of this. And he lures her back in by being sort of attributes of love, or at least appearing to be love, even though it's manipulation technique. And then she sort of cowers and forgives him. And she feels responsible. See, that's codependency. She feels responsible for him, as though he can't go on without her, he says, and he needs her. And so she stays in that abusive relationship. So I'm talking about this kind of thing. And this is where I would say forgiving someone does not mean that they will not do it again. And so if you're in an abusive relationship, or if you're in a relationship where your self, your mind, your emotions, your body is not being respected, then it's time to get out. And that's perfectly fine. And you can feel good about that. And in a less severe situation, like with a nitpicky relative, you can feel very good that you gave them a chance. You didn't really necessarily owe them that, but that was the most loving possible thing you could do, is present your feelings and allow them to to meet your needs and to give you what you need in order to be loved in that relationship, in order to receive love, in order for love to be communicated, and for there to be true connection in that relationship. So just wanted to hit on boundaries because I think that's incredibly important. And so while I preach forgiveness, this does not mean that I'm going to continue to allow that behavior and just continue to forgive it. I'm going to forgive, and then I'm going to dust the crap off my shoes, and I'm going to leave that town. I'm going to forgive, and then I'm going to say, thank you very much, goodbye. You're not welcomed into my space unless you're able to offer me mutual respect. Or offer me respect, because I'll be offering you respect. So just a note there. I had a water somewhere around here. Oh, I'll get it in a second. I cannot forgive because I don't like him or her. Again, it's not about the other person. It's about your personal freedom. I cannot forgive because he or she did it deliberately. Yeah, and that just makes the wrong more wrong. But again, the bigger the burden, the bigger the wrong, the greater the evil, the greater the importance of forgiveness. The bigger the burden, the more freedom and letting go and release is there as an opportunity. Excuse me, I am going to get my water because I'm a big advocate of self-care. And I hear my body saying to me that it needs to be refreshed. And so I'm going to practice what I preach. I'm going to be my word, and I'm going to take care of myself. There now, here we are. If I forgive the offense, I have to treat the offender well. No. We already talked about, first of all, those two aren't connected, but you still have the ability to leave that scenario and to be strong and firm in your no in that relationship or in that scenario. I cannot forgive because someone has to punish him or her. Whoa. I say whoa because honestly, this is my go-to. I'm a huge justice junkie. I'm a huge, this is wrong. Somebody do something about it. And that's why I stand for the right to life, for babies to be born. I stand against abortion. I stand against Planned Parenthood. I stand up for mercy and for justice in some cases, so that life is valued and there's equality for the innocent. Anyway, just an example. Yeah, I have this idea that it's my job to punish the person. Yikes, guys. This is a really, really, really damaging one, because not only have you been wronged by the offense, by the hurt, by the betrayal, by the pain, but now you're going to tie yourself to that person? Ew. Haven't you had enough with that person that hurt you? Get rid of that. Leave that. Let that fly away. It's not your responsibility to punish them. It's not your responsibility to tie yourself to that offense and make sure they get it. Because do you know who's going to be punished too? Maybe worse, definitely worse, is you. And you holding on to that offense and taking it upon yourself to punish them, your mind is thinking about them. And you're becoming a more negative, dark, bitter, cynical person in taking this thing on inwardly and allowing it to affect you on that deeper level. So let them go. Let them go. God says that He will take care of it. He will demand full payment for each offense. And so we can trust that up to the Lord and know that He will take care of it, that God is a just God. He's a merciful God, but He cares about the innocent. He cares about the crimes that happen in the world. And He will take care of that. So release yourself from that responsibility, because it's only going to be more burden onto your shoulders. And you've already had enough in regards to that person. I'll be a hypocrite if I forgive because I don't feel like forgiving. Okay. We often do things for our health that we don't feel like doing. And don't worry about being perceived as a hypocrite. Don't, again, release yourself from the opinions of others and know that in yourself you're doing the right thing and you're doing it because you love yourself and you're taking care of your own soul. I'll forgive, but I won't ever forget. Yeah, I mean, that's likely might be true. I'm not really sure why that's a reason for not forgiving. But don't have that grudgy tone, because that may inhibit you from truly forgiving. If you're going, I'll never forget, you know, that's kind of like, it doesn't appear to have the posture of release or forgiveness. So anyway, guys, I just don't want us to become like what we don't forgive. I don't want us to be hardened and angry and tough and defensive and hateful and violent and whatever those things were, because that means that not only did that person hurt us, but they permanently affected us and they permanently damaged us. And I'm not okay with that. I am not going to let that freak, that fool, that awful person turn me into something dark. They got to hurt me, but they're not going to change my soul. They're not going to dampen my shine. They're not going to darken my light. They're not going to make me believe that I can't be vulnerable, that I can't be soft, that I can't be sensitive, that I can't be everything I am. I refuse to give them that power, and I stand in my capacity and in my ability to choose to forgive for my own freedom, for the health of my own heart and soul. Thank you guys for watching. Happy hope, happy freedom, and forgiveness to you. Bye.